It's the last quarter of 2024. And you know what that means? Holiday drinks. Tons and tons of holiday drinks. The insanity begins. Halloween is first up, the best of the 3 holidays. And today we're going to do the Devil's Garden. It embodies smokiness, carrot juice, red wine, and a little ancho pepper. Mwah. If you don't know yet, I bought a wine shop a couple months ago and I put cocktails on the menu. I had 8 cocktails and I wanted to incorporate half those drinks to have some sort of wine incorporation. So this drink was actually on my summer menu because I wasn't even thinking about colors or this or that, but this drink will work perfect for Halloween. It is a riff of the Devil's Margarita, which is a riff of a whiskey sour. So a Devil's Margarita is a margarita with a red wine float. And I thought that was kind of a cool concept. I like tequila. And so I thought, how could I make this drink a little bit different, a little bit of Carl flair to it? And I went back to my old noggin from memories ago, and we went to Dallas 2019, November 2019, basically pre-honeymoon before we got married. And we went to someplace, unfortunately, I do not remember the name, and they had carrot juice drinks on their brunch menu. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. I'm not a big carrot guy. I'm not going to eat raw carrots with ranch or some bullshit like that, but I will eat it like in salads and Asian cuisine and just if it's mixed into something. So, but I thought it was a terrific cocktail. And I was like, I think that would go well with margarita. Instead of using lime juice, we pH adjust the carrot juice. And I thought it turned out super well. A couple of variations of doing this cocktail. And I just thought it was missing something, right? I just had agave, the pH adjusted carrot juice, and tequila. And I thought it was missing something. And so I wanted a little smokiness to it. So we added mezcal to it, just a little bit of mezcal to give it a smoky, roasty flavor. And then, of course, the red wine float. That took some trials to see which red wine works the best. But we found out that a dry, full body red wine works great. You have Cabs, you have Merlots, and then there's several other big red wines that are similar to those that you could use. Don't use a Pinot Noir or something light. It just won't work and won't hold up into what the drink offers. So less talking, let's get building. So our first step is to juice our carrots. All I do is rinse these off very well and then just cut the tops off and then use my Ninja juicer. I love this thing. It is amazing. It's a workhorse for at home. Gets through these carrots no problem at all. It's easy to clean and yeah, I would recommend it. But yes, anywho, next we are going to check the levels of the pH of the carrot juice. Since it is a vegetable, there's not a lot of acidity in them. So it is higher, about 6.6. And what we need to do is reduce it down to about 2.8-ish. If you don't know what pH adjusting means, is you just take any juice and you reduce the pH balance to be equivalent to what lemons and limes are. Lemons and limes are the sourest fruits out there, and that's what gives you your acid in your cocktails. But instead of just using lemon and limes, you can add malic and citric acid to it to lower the balance of any juice. So you get the acidity level, but you still get flavors of that juice. And what I've done is I've combined 5 parts citric to 1 part malic into a container. And that is what I use when I make my pH adjusted juices. It's what I've used so far. If someone has a better ratio, what I should use, please let me know in the comments. But this is just what I use and it works great. I could play around with it a lot to see if I can make it better, but this works for me and I just move forward. I have not figured out an exact formula depending on weight, or I should say volume of the juice to the pH to how much of my acid mixture I need to do. So I just pour it in very slowly. Stir, measure, pour in slowly, repeat. Because it's easy to add a little bit. If you add too much, then guess what? You have to juice more carrots. All right, we're going to start off with 3/4 of an ounce of agave syrup, 3/4 of an ounce of our pH adjusted carrot juice, 1/4 ounce of mezcal. I'm using Vita. I like the smokiness. It holds up to the cocktail very well. 1.75 ounces of a Reposado Tequila. I like the Altos. It's a good value. I think it's like mid-20s. So it's not too bad of a price point and I enjoy it. We're going to add ice. I'm using 1 large cube and shake for about 10 to 12 seconds. I'm going to use a chilled double rocks glass. If you put the rocks glass in your freezer a couple minutes before you make this cocktail, it's frosty enough to where it's going to hold the rim on the outside of the glass, so you don't need a syrup or a juice. And the rim I'm using is a blend of salt, pepper, dried cilantro, and dried ancho peppers. More salt, a little less pepper, a lot less cilantro, and a little bit of ancho. Just kind of play around with it, whatever you think works for you. And then strain the cocktail into your glass with some lovely ice. And I need to take that ice cube out because it's too much. Oops. Pour out 3/4 of an ounce of red wine. This is a Cabernet Matchbook. It's just a solid red wine. It's not overly dry. Use the back of a spoon. Then I pour it over top of the cocktail and ice. And so it layers really nice, and it will kind of like level out after a bit. And there you go. The Devil's Garden. I think it's a beautiful looking cocktail, especially for Halloween. You got the orange from the carrot juice, the red wine float. And I actually think this, the rim gives it a little bit more texture and kind of more like mossy kind of darkness feel. So let's take a drink. I always recommend first doing without the garnish or like the rim. See what it should taste like without it. It's such a unique cocktail. I mean, obviously the first sip, you're going to get more wine than you are of the carrot juice margarita. But you still get some of that smokiness from the mezcal with that dry wine. And then just a little sip of that carrot and the agave coming through and just balancing it all out. Now let's try it with this rim. Oh yeah, that just gives it more depth, a little bit more backbone. Makes the flavors sing a little bit more. And then the the ancho pepper mixed in with that mixture just gives it a little bit more heat to go with the smokiness of the mezcal. So I think this is a great cocktail, if I say so myself. It's perfect for Halloween. It's got the colors, it's got the flavors. You know, it is definitely unique and different, but I honestly think it's really easy to make. So yeah, give it a try. Let me know what else you like for Halloween cocktails. Let me know in the comments below. And stay tuned for next week because it's going to be a video on 3 months of owning a wine shop. Are my numbers where they want to be? Cheers.